A high-level Hollywood publicist offered Jeffrey Epstein babies. Yes, and this is why I immediately ran when I could to make this video, because when I learned of this, I was like, I've got to talk about this, especially because they mention Madonna. And if you guys know and have been following my content, you know that I did a massive dig on Madonna and her adopting, I believe it's like 4 kids from Malawi. And there was a lot of shadiness in that particular situation. So I thought that it was interesting that this lady, Peggy Siegal, she mentioned Madonna in her offer of babies to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, let's give you guys a little context here. Now, this is uh Peggy Siegal. Okay, Peggy Siegal is, like I said, a very high level entertainment publicist in Hollywood. She has a PR agency, and it was ranked one of the top 12 agencies in Manhattan in 2018. Now, Peggy Siegal is known for organizing high profile invitation only film screenings and events for studios, particularly during award season, including Academy Awards. Her strategy involves curating guest lists of influencers, critics, and celebrities to boost film visibility and awards prospects. She's been described as one of the most powerful figures in New York's entertainment PR scene. Now, her career actually faced a lot of friction. When it was revealed in 2019 that she had an association with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, reports revealed that she helped reintegrate Epstein into elite social circles after his 2008 conviction for soliciting, for minors. She organized events in his Manhattan mansion, inviting figures like Prince Andrew and Chelsea Handler. And basically she offered this reentry with, like I said, just events and dinners, things like this. Now, um I want to jump to this article here. Okay, so let me actually pull this up right here. So I want to the Daily Mail gives some pretty detailed account of Peggy Siegal, because they have the documents detailing her offer to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, it says here, now here we go. It says here, influential PR networker Peggy Siegal appears to have made the comments in a newly revealed message she sent to the disgraced financier PEDO in December of 2009. Now, the email has been uncovered amid the latest drop by the Justice Department. You guys know that there were millions and millions of files and videos, media pieces that were just unleashed. And so this was part of that latest release. Now, like I said, it reveals that she was emailing Jeffrey Epstein in 2009. An account said that Siegal has her writing to Epstein about a trip being taken to Kenya from Amsterdam. So I'm gonna actually read the email for you guys and not waste your time, reading repetitive details, because I actually want to read some context into this, because not to say that this is right. I would never okay PEDO jokes. I don't think that those are funny at all. I don't think that anybody should make those jokes, because it just normalizes and sanitizes that action, or that's, that gross dark arts industry. And but what I do want to read into is if she was joking, or if there's like context to this entire thing. Now, Peggy Siegal wrote this email titled Kenya. On a plane now with Maddie, we're about to take off for Amsterdam to Nairobi. We land in the morning of the 19th in Amsterdam and the late evening of the 19th in Nairobi. On Sunday morning, we fly into the bush to Cotter's Camp in the Masai Mara, then to Sasab in 24th through 26th. Then on the 26th, Lamu to Paponi Hotel, back on the 4th. Okay. No, initially, I will say that I think that this is already weird. Okay. I don't know. Like, even like client, like, let's just say Jeffrey Epstein was like her PR client. It seems like it was a mixture of both. Like, he was a PR client and a friend to her, a personal friend. Now, even so, I don't know anybody. I just think it's weird. Unless you're planning something with somebody, that you would give an entire itinerary of your travels. I just think that part's weird. I think it's TMI. Why is she giving Jeffrey Epstein like the times that she's landing, where she's landing, where she's leaving, where she's landing again, and then this date and that time? I just think that that part is TMI, you know? So I can only assume, make assumptions, and speculate why she would give him that much detail. But yeah, I think that that part's weird. Now, you guys let me know. I mean, do you guys let your friends or your clients know like your entire itineraries? Maybe that's a normal thing. I just think that that's very too much information. Okay. So she then goes into, we cannot thank you enough for yet another life experience. If the Maasai warriors don't need us, the pirates from Somalia will. Coming to PB. So here, right here, might be an indication of some humor. Obviously, she's saying that, you know, if one particular group of people don't eat us, the other group of people will. Coming to PB to see you in January. So she continues talking about timelines and travel. We'll have a ball and think of you all the time. Okay. So it's just weird because this lady obviously seems very, very close to Jeffrey Epstein, very, very close to Jeffrey Epstein, to the point where she's, you know, thinking about him and letting him know and giving him, again, just like the the entire um descriptive itinerary of her travels. And I think that part is just weird. Now, this is the part in green that is like red alert, red flags. She says, can bring a little baby back for you, or two, boys or girls. So Madonna, we'll email when we get to Amsterdam. It's just weird. It's dark. Can bring a It's just, like, so flippant and nonchalant, like, "Can bring back a baby for you, or 2, do you want boys," or, like, even ask him his preference, like, what? What is this for? What is this for? You know? Now she does hit the end with "So Madonna." I do wanna give you guys, a little context to what the whole Madonna thing is. Now, if you've been watching my content for a while, you know that I did a massive dig into Madonna and, just some shady things, in my personal opinion, that were going on with her adoptions. Now, you guys know she has 6 kids. 4 of those kids came from Malawi. Now, the high level, I'm gonna link that particular video at the end of this video. It's gonna be in a little rectangle card. You can click it. I would encourage you to go watch that, just to give, grab some context to this little tiny line here. But so just to kind of recap, this lady, Peggy, is going to Kenya, and she's mentioning Madonna. Now, Madonna's situation at high level, just to give you guys everything in a nutshell, there was, I forget what the agency was called, or if it was like a governmental watchdog or what, but this organization penned a letter to their government, basically with concerns over Madonna, throwing out accusations of her child T-wording, and that, she adopts kids just to, perform these social experiments on them. For example, one of the boys that she adopted from Malawi was dressing feminine. Now, between American culture and more traditional cultures, that's a culture clash. That's just something that some cultures just don't do. And so, but of course, American culture is very out there. We're weirdos. Okay, we've got so many fringe cultures and views and whatever spectrums of things. And so basically, Madonna, the shady part of this entire situation was she would basically propose to the parents of these Malawian kids. Is that Malawian? I think it's Malawian, of these Malawi kids, that she would take them, and they would go to school. That was like the consistent thing that she would tell these parents, that she would take them, they would go to school in the United States, and then they would go back to Africa. So the parents, and these were very, very poor families, very impoverished. And so, these, just side question, do you guys know of World Vision? Do you guys give to World Vision? Like, World vision is interesting because you can like give to particular children, and you can learn about their environments and like where they live. And I say that because you just kind of learn of like how impoverished their environment is, like what basics they don't have. And so that basically trying to paint you guys some context as to how impoverished these families were. So the parents were basically like, yeah, like take the kid, but they thought that their babies were coming back to them, that they were just going to school and they would come back. And they didn't. So Madonna or whoever communicated for her would tell these parents, give them the idea that they would go to school, go back to the parents, but the kids never came back. So basically, Madonna tricked these parents into adoption, giving them up to for adoption. One really sick scenario of one of the parents or one of the families, one of these girls, she was adopted by Madonna, and the girl's grandmother loved her so much, and wanted to see the girl before she was passing. She was actually on her deathbed and penned to Madonna or Madonna's representatives, over and over again. And they just ignored this Malawi grandmother of the child that Madonna adopted. And unfortunately, the grandmother passed, with a broken heart because she wanted so bad to see her granddaughter before she passed. And unfortunately, Madonna would not grant her that wish. So anyway, high level, that's Madonna. That's a Madonna situation. Like I said, if you want more context, you want more, detail, I'm going to add that card at the end of this video. So I find it interesting that she would say, so Madonna, because what's like, did you guys know that was going on in the circles? The Hollywood circles, you know what I mean? Do you know what Madonna was planning and how she was scheming that? Like, how do you just flippantly say, so Madonna? Yes, she adopted 6 kids, but also like the different context. Now, be it that what Madonna did uh, was abhorrent. I can't imagine being a parent and being impoverished and thinking that your kid's going to school and then they just never come back, and they find out that they were just tricked, and the communication just ceases. Now, but what I want to say, what I'm trying to articulate is, I don't know that the Madonna thing and the Epstein thing were apples to apples things. Like I said, Madonna's thing was slimy, it was dark, it was wrong, and there are things that I don't even know that she would have done with those kids, or if it's just insinuated that she did to those kids, or they just got raised weird and, it was, again, just a culture class. I don't know if it's just something as basic as that, but for this lady, Peggy, to offer babies to Jeffrey Epstein, to me, is very concerning. What are you talking about? And, Jeffrey Epstein's not going to raise these kids. Jeffrey Epstein's not raising kids. You know what I mean? Jeffrey Epstein was known to like want to raise this master race. And, I think I saw a headline about him having some sort of secret child with a teenager or something. I'm going to have to read into that. But Jeffrey Epstein's not, he wasn't known to raise kids. He was known to go after them. So that is what this is highly concerning, that this woman was just like flippant and nonchalant about, you want babies? What, want boys or girls? Like, and then also, okay. And also, if she did know what Madonna was doing, and if she's trying to tie that to the things in parallel to Epstein, then what does that say about Madonna? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's a whole rabbit hole that she talks about Sarah, the Duchess, Sarah Ferguson. She was on the Today Show. She talks about some dynamics in the monarchy. I'm not really interested in that last part of the email, but you can pause this if you want to read it. You can pause it. I'm not interested in going into that. So anyway, like I said, she is highly connected. Now, one thing that I want to um, mention, I wonder if it's here. One thing that I want to mention is that she emailed and offered to reintegrate Jeffrey Epstein into like modern society, I believe in 2009. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2008. And what was the date of this email? Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2008. Okay, yes. So look at this. Look at this. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in 2008. This email went out a year later. So not only is Peggy willing to schedule and reintegrate Jeffrey Epstein into high society circles, make dinners and bop, 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 bop. This lady knew that he was convicted in 2008. This was 1 year later. And not only does she know that he's convicted, put this into perspective, she knows that he's convicted for what he's convicted for, and then offering him babies 1 year later from his conviction. Okay. Put that into context. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. So this details the dinner party, an email from publicist Peggy Siegal to George Stephanopoulos, who I believe is like a correspondent or was a correspondent, is a correspondent for ABC. Side note, fun fact, George Stephanopoulos, his sister is a nun and was recently interviewed by Tucker Carlson in this like latest Palestine propaganda interview where she was like giving her perspective of Palestine and demonizing Israel, things like that. So I thought that was interesting, especially because Tucker Carlson is leaning seemingly appearingly on the left a lot these days, which is strange. And so he has George Stephanopoulos' sister, as a guest. Anyway, George Stephanopoulos was emailed by Peggy on December 1st, 2010, said, George, do not think less of me, but I'm putting together a very last minute casual dinner for Prince Andrew, who's in New York for an unofficial private visit. Please come bring AR. The list so far, we're keeping this private and small. Prince Andrew, Woody Allen, Soon Yi, Katie Couric, Jeffrey Epstein, where Andrew is staying. Jeffrey's house is one of the largest single dwellings in New York. It's beautiful. So come to Redacted for a very interesting, fun dinner. XOXO Peggy. Okay. And I believe Chelsea Handler was also implicated in this entire thing. So yeah, I mean that is, whew, boy, that's intense. That email is intense to me. Knowing what I know about Madonna, how she got her kids, how she adopted them, tricking the parents, not caring what the parents felt when they figured out that the kids weren't coming back. Man, that is dark stuff. I just I don't have answers. I don't have answers. I just know what I know, and I gave you guys that information from Madonna, like the whole thing on Madonna. Go watch that video. It's going to be a little clip at the end of this video, or I'm sorry, it's going to be a card at the end of this video. Go watch Madonna, and yeah. I mean, it's like, what did she mean by that? What did she mean by that? Anyway. With that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Her being so connected in Hollywood and knowing that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted 1 year prior to her throwing these parties and emailing her entire itinerary. Do you guys email your itinerary like that to just like friends? I don't know. Like maybe in some instances, like if you're trying to plan something, then I could see where that, but I don't know. I think that was too TMI. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.